What does this look like? That looks pretty good. Okay, let's talk about today's topic of the day. I've got an interview tomorrow, which means I have to be prepared for front camera, in-person presence. So this is partially why I'm doing this, but I'm also here to talk about some emotions I've been having. What's some really interesting things that I've been having? I felt some really interesting emotions today. I was forced out of the house and I basically couldn't really look at my phone, and that meant that I was not able to distract myself with all sorts of pseudo intellectual stuff that you typically read on Twitter. It's such a hellhole because it is used as a co regulating device. It's there to manage my emotions, and this probably explains why it can be so addictive to look at and to not do that. Resisting that can be very difficult. My dog's coming, so bear with. But unable to do that, deprived of my emotional regulation device, I had to really feel my emotions today. And something really interesting happened. I started thinking about the relationships that I have and how my dog has been doing some really nasty shit. I'm just looking at her mouth and she's got mud on her face. You big disgrace. Look at you getting stuff all over your face. Um, right, back to the topic at hand. I'll be with you in a bit. Let me just record this. Okay, so I have a lot of self-deception, as I found out. I self-deceive a lot, which isn't intrinsically moral or immoral. I don't want to moralize this kind of behavior as much as it has been in the past. But there's something that I realized today from my self-deception, which I might not have been able to stare too directly before, was that I self-deceive in situations where I am in a relationship with someone and emotions that I have while this in a relationship sometimes clash with the emotions I think I should feel in a particular relationship. And it becomes ever more pronounced when the relationship has very strict, how do I say, emotional rules, I suppose, emotional norms about how I should feel or emote towards the relata or the other entity in the relationship. And one thing I can talk about probably a bit more freely than I could before, and one relationship that is like not off the not off the rails, is my relationship with Donovan, or at least my former relationship with Donovan. Whatever relationship we have now is bound to be different, especially now that I haven't spoken to him in 5 months. Damn, I really should stop naming these people that I have, that I talk about. And one of the crazy things that I've realized now that I'm able to openly admit certain forms of self-deception to myself is the feeling, is the belief I once had about relationships where I thought I was behaving, i.e., emoting, feeling in the active sense, properly, correctly, in accordance with the bounds of the relationship. But this was more so my desire to conform my emotional expectations of myself in accordance with my expectations of how it would be appropriate to behave, emotionally speaking, within a given relationship. And so this inevitably led me to certain blind spots in my emotions and how I view myself. One of the interesting things is that I was unable to admit feelings of romance towards Donovan because Donovan was clearly my best friend, and one does not feel romantic feelings towards one's best friend. I always twisted it and told myself it's not emotion, it's not love that you, well, it is love, but it's not romantic love that you're feeling for him. It's just a strong limited attachment to this boy. Um, that may very well be true, but um, I'm finally able to like admit that there might have been some kind of emotional, romantic attachment towards him, since I did treat him as if he were my boyfriend so many times. Gosh, does that mean someone's talking about me somewhere in the world right now? Anyway, Japanese superstitions aside, um, back to Donovan. I do now realize that I have these feelings for him, and I can admit that, and it does make my emotional tension like ease up a little bit, and I'm able to experience the emotion fully and see my emotions and myself for who I am and what it is, absent any expectations that I have with regards to a potential relationship. Now, I think this is rational to do um, if I value the relationship more so than I do my authenticity or self honesty or viewing my emotions clearly, clear eyed, and just like unclouded by any potential inappropriate emotions. And so I think I developed this belief that I have full and complete control and agency over my emotions, that I can emote exactly how I consciously choose to be, and that all that messy subconscious stuff won't get in the way. And so it was my choice and my decision how I should emote towards another person, especially like Donovan. And so I thought it was my responsibility to tweak it and change my emotions if they ever happen to step out of line from the expectations of proper emotions within that relationship, because what mattered more was the relationship. It wasn't me being honest with myself or being able to see my emotions clearly without trying to like modify them, but to preserve the relationship. And this inevitably led me to overestimate my ability to emotionally tweak my my feelings to come into line with expectations, emotional expectations. Because I do think you can change your emotions. You can emote actively, but a large part of it is out of your control. And it's better to be, as I've discovered, honest about that rather than trying to like foist that. So I feel, so yeah, these are things that I've come to realize. This is true for my past relationship with Donovan. It's also true with the current relationships that I have with people. And this is much harder to like interrogate because these are active relationships that I have. But being able to like finally see this um, helps a lot in moving forward and being able to anticipate where certain pitfalls might happen, especially with regards to my tendencies to self-deceive. Oh, turns out I do self-deceive, and me trying to like, hype myself into believing the opposite has ramifications, backfires quite a lot. But I've learned that lesson now. Let's see where I can go with this moving forward. Anyway, that's today's in-camera presence. I hope that went much smoothly than it normally does. I'm doing like this weird look down into the camera with this gorgeous sunset in the background. It's quite nice. Plus, I also have the microphone set to me, and that means I get to walk a little bit farther as well as like anywhere I want, and the sound quality would remain consistent. This is good. I have an emotion. Sorry, I have an interview tomorrow. Wish me luck, wherever or whoever or whenever you are watching from. That's it. Catch you later.